So here we are, and we're gonna do the second layer of our screen print. So we're talking mostly this time about registration. We've already been through the whole printing process, so I'm not gonna do that again on this demo. But just to recap, tape, don't forget to tape the front of your screen, set everything up, get your Durlar. What I wanna show you is that you absolutely can reuse this Durlar every single time, even if the ink is dried on it. Just take a wet rag and go ahead and wipe it off. So you should only need one piece of this for the whole semester. Okay, so that's ready to go. I'm going to use my same exact stock paper to proof on, just right over that first image, because that's its function. Oh, I do need a new squeegee. I'm gonna grab one of those. Because I meticulously cleaned my squeegee, my bowl, and my spatulas before, and my screen before setting up for layer 2. So I didn't go through that on the video, but trust me when I say you want to leave the entire place, including every single thing you touched, cleaner than when you found it. Okay. So what color do I want my second layer to be? And I decided I want kind of a pale blue. So I'm going to go ahead and use some of my cyan, maybe. So I'm going to get a little bit of cyan, and remember I need more than I think, and I have extra, I can save it. So I have a spatula just for the cyan, don't want to use the same spatula for both colors. And now we're going to talk about white. So you will see, you saw the viscosity of the black and now the cyan, very loose, drippy, a little bit like yogurt maybe, mixture between maple syrup and yogurt. The white is stiff, okay? It's like not coming out. So this is going to change the viscosity of your ink. It's also going to make it harder to flood, faster to dry, all kinds of things that are gonna start to make this process a little bit trickier and a little bit snickier. So we are going to first find the color that you want, and then we're gonna see how our consistency is doing. So I'm gonna add a little bit of that white. I'm gonna keep this as a clean white spatula and just mix in with my second spatula into my cyan. So to make sure to mix really well, because the white being thicker than the blue has a tendency to sometimes still marble on the paper if you haven't mixed it kind of perfectly. So I'm going to take time to make sure that I have really mixed in every single little piece of white. I'm realizing right now, like actually, I'm not sure that I have, should be doing this over here. I'm not sure that I have quite enough ink. I'm worried that because I have a big open space in my image, that's gonna suck up a lot of ink. I just wanna make sure that I'm not running out. So I'm gonna go ahead and add a little bit more of both colors. Let's do this over here so you can see. So in with my cyan, more cyan, in with more white. Okay, mixing it up. Now to counterbalance the viscosity of the white ink, I'm going to add some transparency. Transparency is also good if you're trying to make your color obviously more transparent. So, but with white, I absolutely have to use it. So anytime I'm mixing white in, I am going to mix in a little bit of transparent base. And I would say a ratio of white to transparency is maybe, you can start with sort of a 1:4 ratio and then just feel it and see how it feels. And you're trying to get the ink back to that consistency that it was without the white. Feels pretty good to me. So I'm just gonna try, you know, about a quarter of the amount of white that I put in. And I'm gonna stir in that transparency. And I should start to notice that the full ink is just getting a little looser as you're imagining what you kind of need it to do as it's pushed through the screen. You want it to be a nice, even consistency. So like that loose yogurt kind of texture. All right, looks like I'm ready to go. I'm loving this color, sky blue, very summery. Okay, so I'm all set up. I'm going to start first on my proofing paper. I'm going to add my ink, that channel of ink, to the top of my screen. See how I didn't quite mix in all the white? It's okay. I'll take care of that later. I have my squeegee, and now let's see what it looks like. I'm gonna make sure to flood. And I'm looking at it, and it looks good. Yeah, I don't know. It has some, like, you can see the kind of skidding from that particular squeegee, so I'm going to make sure when I go to my final printing that I'm passing very smoothly, but for the most part, I think this proof looks good. It's interesting here, you can now see, even though I don't have a place where the blue overlaps the black in my print, you can see that it's generated a third color. That's another wonderful way to use screen printing because you're separating color into layers, and so really start to think about how those layers mix and interact and what kind of third, fifth, seventh colors you can create. Okay, feeling happy. And now, because I moved my screen, this is a new screen, I've put a new set of a new screen, I have to redo my Duralar proof so that I can register. So I'm actually, just for flooding's purposes, going to add even more ink to the top of my screen. More ink, the better. It's a delicate balance because you'll see it drips also down to the frame. So you want to have enough to flood, but not too much that it's going to drip out of your frame and make a big mess on the floor. You guys will figure it out. All right, let's see what it looks like on the Duralar. Might make sure to have that really smooth motion this time. Cool. All right, so I have my nice paper, and now I'm going to register in a very precise way every single time because my registration is very, the idea is for it to be perfect. And I need it to be perfect, otherwise my words aren't gonna make any sense because the color has been split between the words. So every single time I print now, I'm going to make sure that those words line up perfectly. So I'm sort of demoing you like the hardest version of possible of a registration to show you exactly the meticulous need. All right, so once I think that everything is looking pretty good, now I can just leave that. I don't need any tape. I can just leave that paper exactly where it is. I'm gonna lift up my Duralar. It's gonna rest on its supported paper. I'm gonna carefully lower my screen so that it doesn't blow or move in that process. Let's see how I did. Make sure you flood. Okay, close. Not perfect. You can see that I've left this little slice of white, very tiny. It looks really good here at the bottom, but I could have tilted that paper such a tiny fraction. But, from a distance, right? Okay. So I'm going for that perfect registration. I really want to make sure to nail it. So every single time in the whole edition, I'm coming back to the Duralar and trying to find that perfect lineup. All right, feeling good about that. I'm gonna go add a little bit of extra ink for flooding, especially with the thicker consistency of ink. It sometimes needs that a little extra to flood. Yes, we got it. All right. Looking great. I'm seeing, I can see a little bit of a squiggle, but at least I'm not seeing the white of the sliver between the black and the blue circle. I'm content with that, but let's get it even better. 2 more prints to go, and hopefully I'll have 3 passable prints to be part of our edition. Okay, let's give it a try. I think best one yet. All right, so I'm seeing absolutely no break in the color and in the text. So that feels really good. Let's see if we can nail it one more time. Oh, I don't have to flood. That was my last print. Looks good. Happy with that. That'll work. I'm gonna go ahead and clean up now. So my prints go on the drying rack in the corner of the room. My screen, squeegee, bowl, spatula, print surface becomes meticulously cleaned, and everything is put away and ready for the next person to come and print. So congratulations on your first multi-layer screen print.